Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go flying.
Got it.
Oh, here we are.
I know.
Okay.
I love that robot lady's voice. She's kind of, I don't know, she kind of does it for me.
I've never heard her before.
She's new. New update.
She is new.
Yeah. Anyways, hi kid.
Hello.
I'm Martyr.
I'm C Tepper.
And this is
Wigging out.
ASMR. I didn't want to break the sound barrier
That we do every episode.
Yeah. But, welcome to our, I guess this will be our first episode in November, which is exciting. Happy November.
I hope it is.
Yeah.
Martyr.
Yeah.
I hope.
Oh yeah, fuck off. Yeah, we're closing in on the glorious year that is 2021. Gotta love November.
This people have shut off already. Let's get to our guests.
Caitlin, who are we doing today? Who are we talking to?
Today, our second drag king ever. We are very excited about this.
And their first interview on a podcast.
Woo, breaking cherries. It is Richard. Woo.
Richard.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Excited to be here.
Oh,
Yay,
us
we're
too.
excited to have you.
We've been friends for a little bit, but I'm a big fan of you. So I'm glad you decided to come on our little podcast. So especially to learn more about you. Very excited. And the world needs more drag king content. So I'm glad we can
We're slowly
provide a little
slowly providing it.
Yeah, slowly but surely. We're getting there. But
so the first question we ask every guest, how was your pandemic?
Both it was terrible, obviously.
same.
There were, I guess, moments you look back at now and you're kind of grateful for the time, because I've got to just learn new skills that I wouldn't have been able to if I wasn't locked in a room for how long was it? 6 months, 9 months? I don't know. Time is irrelevant now. But
doesn't exist.
yeah, it was hard on mental health as it was for everybody, but I did do a lot of creating, which I wouldn't have if I wasn't. So
That's good
That's
to hear.
good.
Yeah. To be quite honest, I think this year for me personally has been worse, but since we're getting so close, almost 2 years of the pandemic. Yeah, it was worse. Caitlin's giving me a look right now, but this year is much worse for me personally. But but I'm glad we're all coming out of it, kind of, and putting those creative juices out in the world. So that's my little piece.
Yeah. So going back in time, where are you from originally?
I'm from Astoria, Queens.
Native New Yorker in the house.
Native New Yorker. I'm from Queens. I did live in Long Island for 6 months and terrible, so I'm back here. But yeah.
How was it growing up in Queens?
I guess I have nothing else to compare it to. So
yeah.
It was cool just having access to the city as a kid. And then also just, getting into the different types of trouble you can get into as a kid who has access to Manhattan.
Any crazy stories?
Probably, yeah. I feel like when I was maybe 17, 18, my friend was in esthetician school with somebody who used to be a club kid. So we would go to whatever was left over of the club kids in that time in those parties. So that was fun, but yeah, my brain doesn't work as well as it used to, so I can't pull up any memories.
That's because you had too much fun.
Too much fun,
yeah. And you still live in Astoria, right? I know you're in Queens.
Astoria,
yeah. Oh, that's cute. How does it feel about being a queerdo in your like home neighborhood still?
I mean, that's a good question, because I guess a lot of people move to New York to kind of escape their hometowns,
Hmm.
and I can't.
Yeah, fair.
um, yeah, so it's like on one hand, like New York is like just amazing, and you get to meet all these amazing people from all different walks of life. But at the same time, I still have like I can turn the corner and see somebody I went to high school with, or I can be working or even performing and see somebody I went to kindergarten with, and I'm just like, oh.
Hi. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's something I think a lot about, where I wish I experienced New York in a way that is not the
Out of
way I'm
towners
experiencing
do.
it now. Yeah, because
Yeah.
I think I would feel a lot more free here, but I don't. Which
Yeah.
sucks,
Would you ever move?
um, I love the idea of it, but I just don't know what I would do anywhere else. Like, I'd love to move upstate, but then realistically, I'm like, I've only ever lived in a city. What am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Fair.
or who knows? Who knows what's in the cards? But I guess for now, I'm here in Queens.
So how did you find drag? How did you get into it?
Um, so I guess like Richard has always been a character of mine.
Hmm.
From when I was very young, I would dress up like Richard. I had a group of, I'm very grateful for my group of very strange friends that I met in high school, who would also dress up and do weird stuff with me. But we all, yeah, I guess that's like when this like idea of like, oh, I can dress up as this male character and kind of display these like ridiculous male archetypes. But to like officially have gotten into drag, I guess so. Full transparency, I'm sober. I'm 6 years sober, and in the process
Congratulations.
of getting sober, I could not stop thinking about drag and doing drag because I had seen Venus Boys when I was younger.
Mhm.
Yes,
Documentary. It's amazing. You should watch it if you haven't.
I agree.
So then I don't know what happened, but that's like what I fixated on in the process of getting sober. So I had done my first performance as Richard in an AA talent show in Long Island.
Wow, that's a first.
I love
Like I don't know. It was an experience. I'm grateful for it because there were people there. They were cheering me on. Definitely feels like it wasn't the right type of venue for what I do, but it was a good place to like rip off that Band-Aid. And then I guess fast forward another 2 years, I met Sweaty Eddie. We met previous to me ever starting drag, and he had mentioned that he was a drag king, and I was like, how do I do that here in New York City? And he helped me sign up for the Mixed Nobody pageant.
mm-hmm.
Now, again, time is confusing, and I don't remember what year it was, but
2019.
I think it was either 2017 or 2018.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
an early one.
Yeah, it was one of those.
I think I was in 2018. So maybe I don't remember
They
that
all
year.
kind of blur together the years.
Yeah.
Now.
I've been here too long where I'm just like, oh, I don't know. It happened a year. So I feel you. And to watch your journey since then, because I think that's when around that time is when I first met you too.
Yeah.
That sounds familiar. But I love y'all's you and Sweaty's relationship, both as drag beings. It's
Yeah,
very, very
great.
nice. Speaking of them, I guess, what did you, I guess, learn from Sweaty and how to get into drag and becoming a drag king and such?
I'm very grateful for Sweaty Eddie because I mean he's taught me a lot, and not only just drag, just like also with art and life, but he really helped me like learn how to make mixes and like really like take my ideas that were in my head and like make them real again. So he guided me through that whole process and kind of coached me, because I had made this like insane mix that had like 4 different songs and different like audio tracks and like different reveals.
Mhm.
Yeah, so without him, I would not be the Richard you see today.
Yes. How did you decide on the name Richard?
Well, Richard is short for Dick.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I had previously had a last name,
Mm-hmm.
which I dropped because people couldn't pronounce it.
I feel like that happens to a lot of drag performers.
Yeah. No, I was like, we just pull like a Madonna and just have like a one name. But I guess my last name used to be DeCaco, so it was just a giant like dick joke. My whole name. I don't know. I think an old friend had said this would make a great name for a drag king, and I
stole it.
I can use it.
You stole it and you latched onto it.
Well, now I dropped the name, so I didn't really.
No, I feel you about the mispronunciation of everything. So especially as a one-word Madonna girl myself. So I feel you.
It's giving share.
It's giving share. Sure. I think Richard, it's kind of also one of those names you just hear, you're like, yes, it's a perfect name for drag king. Because it's just like when I first heard like Bob the drag queen, hilarious, never been done before, hysterical. And then when you just hear, and now Richard, like, yep, I get it. I get exactly what character I'm gonna see. So I love your name, and your drag. And speaking of, what would the best descriptor of your drag be?
Actually, so I mean, I guess Richard takes on like many forms, but the underlying thing is I'm always like kind of displaying some type of male archetype or machismo. I mean, I guess that's like where I like to go with it, because at the end it's a gender performance for me, and it's a way to like express a gender that I don't feel that I'm interested in, but not fully connected to in my own life, you know. So, see, I'm literally reading my bio right now.
You do it.
Yeah, I think I am not good at answering this question.
Perfect.
Well, if someone went to like a Richard show, like what type of numbers would they expect?
I mean, well, I love to kind of throw people off with like some type of reveal, whether it be like something that's like shocking that you're not expecting to see. Like I make prosthetic balls, which Sweaty Eddie also helped me teach me how to make that. Or just like I kind of take things in a direction that like really, my intention is to like shock the audience. So, yeah.
Do you have any other like illusions? Because I feel like every drag king has like different illusion like markers that make them different. Do you have any specific to you?
I would probably say it's the balls.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, I guess me and Sweaty Eddie were talking about how we're like one trick ponies, and Sweaty Eddie's known for his long arms, and I've got the long balls. But I'm trying to like step away from that in this next year, and like pull Richard into a different direction. But it was always been like shock humor to me, you know. Like I think that's what people going to a show who knew me could expect. Whether it be like, I have a number where I strip down to pony, but I turn into an actual pony. I have like a number where I fuck a pie which was my nobody's number that I had done. Things like that, but yeah.
Very American Pie.
Oh my God, not that. Not that almost 20-year-old reference.
Excuse me, as a child of the 90s.
I call you old the rest of the show, but I'm very excited to talk about our next topic right before we go to break. But you are one of the founders of the Cake Boys. I think the only drag king collective in Manhattan or New York City.
In New York that, well, yeah, there are little pockets of collectives, but
Mhm.
when we had started, I think we were the first at that time.
Mhm.
Not previous, there were previous.
Yeah. Tell me about that formation. What triggered it? What has propelled it to its success? Yeah, everything.
So I think it was kind of like, I was doing drag for like maybe 2 years before we had formed it. And just recognizing like, that there weren't any drag kings or things. And also the amount of kind of disrespect that I received as like a non-traditional drag queen performer. From things like straight up being told that I'm getting paid half of the booking fee. Like it was like just a nonchalant thing. Like it was obvious like I was not respected in some certain spaces. And it was during that time, one of my friends was like, well, if you don't have the space, you got to create it yourself. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna try this. I like in forming it, I didn't think it would turn into what it did. It was kind of just more of a thing like, let's just have some shows that'll be fun, that are like full of performers that are just like me, and it's evolved over the last year and a half. I can't believe it's only been a year and a half.
I know.
Into this like beautiful thing that I'm very, very grateful and happy for.
Yeah. I think we're gonna take our little break and we're gonna talk more about the Cake Boys and your all's success, because you've had such a wild success after, like you said, a year and a half, and it's very great.
I'm almost embarrassed to say that it's only been a year and a half, but
no,
yeah, it definitely feels longer.
Yeah, you guys feel like a staple already. So, we're gonna be right back, kids, and take our little break. So I don't know. Go get bye.
What are you telling them to do?
I say like go get a drink or something, but
okay.
Yeah.
They know what to do.
Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig to go fly.
All right, and we're back.
We're back.
Oh, had a little jazzy moment. I don't know.
Sure.
I'm just listen. Our transitions are like stupid, so I feel like keep our audience on edge, keep them on their toes.
We have an audience.
Yes.
Where?
It's me when I listen back to it.
Honestly, it is. That's who it really is.
Anyways, let's get back into the full swing and interviewing Richard. We mentioned it briefly in our first little segment, but the Nobodies pageant 2019, I do believe you're a finalist.
Woo!
How was your and you've done other competitions as well, because you were also a finalist and mixed PK of the same year. What's your experience with competitions? How do you like them? How do you manage them and such?
I hate doing them.
Same. No, I feel you.
They just because I don't know, it's a lot. You put so much into it, and like, well, I don't know. I always end up not in a good headspace after, which is like why I'm hesitant in joining. But I do have to say, the Nobodies was the best experience in a competition I could have ever asked for, and I'm very grateful. They were there to provide that space for so many artists, So
I love them dearly. I got dinner with one of them fairly recently, Eric. He's not listening, but
so I don't know what that pageant is. What makes that pageant unique compared to other like New York ones?
It was like it's meant for. Well, to me, it always felt like it wasn't like a drag pageant that you would normally go to, or drag competition. It was kind of for the freaks and weirdos, and you would have like such a broad range of types of performers competing, like people who have been doing it for years and years, people who have done it for the first time ever. Signing up for that one was a lot more comfortable for me, just like knowing that there were so many different types of performers, different levels and ranges of like experience. And you would see a lot of like weird stuff, which I love, which you don't necessarily see in many other spaces. So at that time too, especially. So.
Yeah.
Like that was 100 years ago, but it was
literally
pre-pandemic.
the W4 time. Yeah, that space, the Nobodies do a really good job at like opening it up to everybody, and you'll get some wild cards in there, and it's literally forget what they rank you off of, but it's kind of, I think they have like an ick factor, like a
What?
like a, does this make us like not uncomfortable, but just sort of like interesting? I don't know. It was like, it wasn't like an it factor, but it was like an ick factor. I believe. Don't
I like
quote me
that.
on that. Yeah, they're sweethearts. What was, do you mind telling our audience your both your preliminary performances and both Mix BK and Mix Nobody that got you into the finale?
So I'm like mixing them both up in my mind. I think my my Mix BK number that got me into the finale was the first time I used, because I always wanted to use video with drag, and I had shot an episode of Intervention with Richard and his entire family, played by me.
Ooh.
I do remember that.
I think like the gag of it was that in the end of the intervention, I run out and you follow me running, and then I run into the bar. And then as the video is me running into the bar, I ran into the bar.
I love that.
That was a fun like gag that I really want to do again, but it just takes a little bit of work when you're doing a number. And for now, I can't even remember. Was that for Mix BK? Yeah, that was for Mix BK. What did I do for the Nobodies?
I don't remember.
I think I did another video actually of, and now I can't remember if this was the finale or my preliminary number, but it was where I played my mother, Richard's mother.
I think that was a Mix BK finale, because I do remember that specifically too. Are you definitely playing a different character than Richard at the finale?
I don't even know.
I love this like very fluid timeline of events.
I mean,
it works.
Here, so
Yeah.
And I think they were like similar stories. Like one of them was, I had a video of my mom, and my high school friend played the other mother, and my friend, I don't know, it was, it was fun. And then I did a lip sync number where I turned from Richard into my mother.
Oh.
Magnifique.
Yes.
Oh.
A boy's worst
cool.
nightmare.
That was fun, because it was just like my first experience in using video with drag, which like helped me get through the pandemic.
Yeah, I was gonna say that it really worked out, like crossing over once the pandemic hit.
So
because y'all during the pandemic, y'all used to do virtual Cake Boy shows, correct?
Yeah.
I believe I watched the Halloween one as it was airing. But how was navigating video stuff during the pandemic, and also putting a massive production on like that? Because you your efforts ended up with you getting a nomination for the Glam Awards. So
Woo!
I literally learned how to use, I was like starting to learn how to use like After Effects and Adobe Premiere and stuff with the year prior, with like the Nobodies and Mix BK competitions, but I really focused in and learned so much in the pandemic on how to I started learning how to animate and how to edit and how to color grade film. I feel like that was really like creating those shows the Cake Night show, which is like, it'll be a year on the October 28th, I guess, that we aired that.
Mhm.
But I'm grateful for that experience and the other producers and everybody who was part of it, because it really it turned out pretty cool, you know.
Mhm. It was y'all's was one of the highlights because under a sea of digital drag and Twitch shows and such, I think y'all brought a very special place to the digital landscape, especially with some of the talent that you all have like accrued on the Cake Boys. So, do you mind maybe listing off some of the members of the Cake Boys, so people can better have an understanding of who they are?
So there's right now there's 4 producers.
Mhm.
It's me, Muscles Monty, Sweaty Eddie, and Scenario. And then when we were previously pre-pandemic, before times, we were producing with Gemma Nemesis as well.
Mhm.
Still performs in a lot of our shows and helps us out. But we like to call it more of like a network than a collective.
Okay.
As if people perform with us, you're a Cake Boy, because
Mhm.
the intention of creating the space was to like have a space where we felt like we belonged, and we want to extend that to people. And a lot of like with like the Cake Night shows that we've done, we involve the performers in like creating their scene. So it would be like, okay, we would write the script out. That's another thing. All of our shows pre-pandemic were scripted slightly, so they were telling a storyline. So we brought that into the Cake Night show. So we would write out the script. We'd tell people like what kind of general idea of what we want them to do, and then we'd have like meetings with them to kind of develop a plot line for what's happening in that moment. That was a lot of fun, working and getting to know people a little bit better, especially when you're so isolated.
Yeah. We probably should have asked this at the top of the show when we mentioned them, but what is your definition of a Cake Boy?
Anybody who wants to be. It's just, we started out of that feeling of like not belonging, so we want that space for people to feel welcome. And I feel like we've accomplished that by just talking to people who come to our shows, being like, I've never seen this before, I've never experienced this, I've never been in a place where I feel like people liked my drag, which is like, it's sad, because these performers are incredibly talented, and just don't get like the recognition or even a booking, because that's not what people know drag to be in media right now, which is one of my goals to change, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of like the idea that it's very theatrical, because I mean, drag is obviously theatrical, but I think a lot of drag in New York is just people doing numbers, getting on stage and then leaving the stage. And I like that there's like an actual storyline thought out ahead of time. That's definitely unique currently. So let's get into the different shows that the Cake Boys have done. What can you tell us about King and Thing Showcase at Albatross in Astoria?
So it actually wasn't done by us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was produced by Astoria Lestrange.
Okay.
But amazing show. Go support it if you're in Astoria. I forgot what Sunday it is, but it's once a month, I think.
Okay. And I know you just participated in Takes the Cake, the New York City Drag King and Thing competition, and that was multiple weeks, right?
Yeah, that was our most recent production, and that was 4 weeks of elimination rounds and 1 finale round, and it was wildly successful, which was shocking because we didn't think that would happen. But
where was that, in Astoria?
No, so we did it at Purgatory, which is an amazing venue. Shout out to Purgatory. It's a beautiful venue. We shot the Cake Night show there too as well. And I really appreciate Tess, who's one of the owners, who is just very accepting and supportive of us. So we shot it we did it at Purgatory, and then because each week was selling out so fast, we had to move the finale to $3 Bill.
Oh, wow.
because we needed a larger space for people to see what just to be able to go, because yeah, we were selling out 2 weeks before each show.
Oh my God. Yeah. Congrats.
Hey,
That's
what is
huge.
happening? It
There's
was
definitely a like need for it, I feel
Yeah.
like.
it was initially only 3 weeks too,
Oh.
and we had announced it, and the slots filled up within a day. So we were
Wow.
like, we were expecting 20 people to sign up for this. We need to add another week. So
I do think we were kind of starved for like competitions too, like large scale competitions. Like y'all are having like several weeks and stuff, because after the pandemic, like a lot of them either ended and haven't come back, or like, so it was very much needed in the community. And so very thankful that you brought a lot of new talent out into the forefront.
Who won?
Klondike, who's amazing. They have a show coming up at Purgatory on the 30th.
I just saw a flyer for it.
Yeah, they're like an incredible, captivating, hilarious, just amazing. Like, I don't know, you watch them and you're just like, whoa, like what? I don't know. So good. That's all. I'm speechless.
Can't wait to go.
They were great for sure.
Yeah.
So you've also participated in Single Cut Manmosa, the only all drag king and thing drag brunch. Where is that?
Yeah, it's so Single Cut's here in Astoria. It's a brewery.
Oh.
And pre-pandemic, we had started a drag king brunch, which was the only one in New York City, I think still at this time. And they asked us to come back. They're amazing. So we did one in the summertime. Forgot when it was. July. It's just time makes no sense still. July or August we had done it, and we're actually coming back on November 21st for the next one.
Oh my God, so soon. That's
what can
exciting.
people expect at a drag king brunch? What makes it different?
Well, just the performers. So there are no drag queens in our lineup. Not to say maybe one day we might. I don't know. I'm not gonna exclude anybody, but it's just it's a fun show. It's during the day. It's not late. A nice venue. But yeah, you can expect what you might see in a typical drag show with a cast of all drag kings and things.
I love
who is in the current lineup for the tournament?
So we haven't. I haven't reached out to them yet. Healing oral surgery, which sucked. But so far, it's going to be Klondike, and I think we've talked to Tuna Melt, and we're going to have the other 2 top 4 from the competition, King Charm Her, and them. I haven't asked them yet, though. So they're listening. I'm going to ask you to do a gig next month. But.
Beautiful. And then most recently, y'all were you did a Bushwig takeover for the 10th anniversary. How did that come about? And how did it go? I know personally there was some surgery that happened, and I hope you're doing better. But yeah, I remember talking to you about it. So how was the experience?
Well, I woke up at 10 a.m. on the day of Bushwig, and my face was I looked like Jay Leno on one side, like I had full in my gut, and apparently I had 4 abscesses in my mouth.
Oh my God.
So I spent my Bushwig in Elmhurst Hospital.
Oh, poor baby.
Oh my God.
Especially like the number that I had created, I spent a lot of time, money, energy, effort into making, and I have not performed it, but
that's for next year.
Yeah. I was not there. Yeah.
But have you done Bushwick in the past?
I have, yeah.
Okay.
The Cake Boys did the fam party for Pride, which was a fun time. And I've done like Bushwig for 2 years before, like the 2 previous Bushwigs.
Yeah.
So it's always nice, like performing on a big stage. I would like to say that they should be booking more drag kings, but hopefully that will change over time.
Yeah. I think there's been a lot of outcry from this past one about performers and such. So hopefully we'll get some changes in the lineups in the future and such. So here's hoping. But yeah, I do remember talking to you night one of Bushwig. We had a little moment and that was nice. That's all I wanted to say. Because I was having a very bleh day because I was very stressed out about the next following day. But yeah, you were a nice little treat to talk to.
Up on Tylenol all day.
Oh yeah. Oof. Yeah. Oh my God. Well, from that.
Had a bunch of teeth pulled.
Oh my God. You poor thing.
Yeah, still have to.
Yeah.
To go to
You doing better now though, for the most part?
I have like nerve damage in my face.
Oh.
I couldn't move my face for a while.
Oh my God.
Like when your feet fall asleep, that's how my like. But it's like to a point where you can't tell. Like I can move my mouth. Right?
I have that with my bottom lip. It's like right here. Yeah.
Maybe it's the same thing.
Maybe. It's like much smaller. It's just like a corner of my bottom lip and then comes down to like a little bit past my chin. Yeah. Oh my God. Dental bonding.
And on that note,
I think we should take our last little break and we'll get into our little wrap up. We'll be right back, kids.
Bye.
Wig, okay. I know, wig. I feel that already. Wig, okay. Wig, did you just say wig? Wig, okay. I am ready for my wig.
And we're back.
We're back.
Welcome back to our little show. Thank you for continuing watching and listening. I always say watching. I don't. There's not a.
You think everyone's like in our Zoom call, right?
I know. I don't know why, but you know, here we are. Anyways, it's our last little part of our interview. It's my favorite part because it's a nice little come down, some questions that are nice. But
okay.
Let me compliment ourselves, Caitlin.
I like this episode because I'm kind of letting you take the reins on this one.
Thank you.
I enjoy it. I enjoy not having to do as much work.
Okay, Richard. Besides maybe the Cake Boys, because they're all lovely people, what are like some drag kings? I think you briefly mentioned Venus Boys, but what other drag kings in the past like inspired you or continue to inspire you?
Well, hands down Moby Dick, which is from the documentary.
That's right.
Watching Venus Boys, like, and I saw that before it even came out or even knew it was queer in any way. Like I was just obsessed with it and watched it multiple times.
It's very good.
Such a good documentary. And I actually like, and also Dread, who's also in Venus Boys. Dread unfortunately passed away last year. So I went, or maybe I guess it was right before the pandemic happened. And I went to their memorial and I actually met Moby Dick. And
oh wow,
like a little bit of a mentor to me, which was cool.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
I have phone calls with him, which is wild. But then aside from like Moby Dick, there are so many performers. I love Rusty Hammer. You know who that is? They do these like, he does this like 70s like sleazy but like smooth drag king on roller skates.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. There's also Jarvis Hammer, who's another one. We actually got to book this performer because they were in town with one of the competitions, Magic Dyke, who is incredible, just like their movement and like the way they like capture and hold the stage, and for being able to like get booked last minute when you're on a vacation in New York City to pull together a drag look and number. They killed it. So there are so many like drag kings, I guess, to cross US and beyond that
Yeah.
I look up to and admire. For sure.
It's surprising to me how many drag kings there are around the world because I don't know why it surprises me, but
in other cities there's like way more. And like,
100%.
and they're like they have here. I feel like there's like a little bit of a disconnect between the drag queens and drag kings.
Mhm.
I agree.
But if we look at like I speak with like Johnny Gentleman in LA a bit, and just like seeing what he's booked in and like how he speaks of the community, I'm like, oh, you know, I wish we kind of had that here. Maybe one day, you know.
I agree. I think it's too
Fingers crossed.
disconnected.
No, I agree. Unfortunately, we'll get there eventually. Um, well, speaking of your mentors, are there any drag kings maybe in our current scene that our audience and we should know about? Should we be on the lookout?
Yes, anybody that was in our competition.
Yeah, I figure.
I'm just like blown away that like people that took the stage for the first time. Really, I'd say look out for Lucky Pierre, who kills it with like the looks, numbers, everything. Klondike, King Charmer, Bucket. King Charmer and Bucket are my new drag children.
Oh,
There are many like drag kings to like be a parent. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm figuring it out, but also amazing. I don't want to miss anybody by like saying, oh, Tuna Melt, amazing. Full production on stage. Yeah. Anybody that was really in that competition. I don't want to miss anybody. And I could go on kind of for hours on
Yeah.
how everybody is, you know.
No, there's a lot of talent in that lineup. Those several
cool.
lineups, I guess. 4 weeks. Yeah.
So 1, would you ever do Dragula, or 2, do you think like drag kings should have their own like competition show on the same level as like Drag Race or Dragula that you would like to see?
I would never do Dragula. I would never want to be on TV in a way like that, like in a competition show. But I do agree that there should be another drag king or thing competition show on the level of Dragula or RuPaul's Drag Race. I don't want RuPaul putting drag kings on the show.
I was gonna ask that.
Sorry, I jumped ahead.
No, do
you're
it. That's good. I always like when people are on the same wavelength.
Like, I don't want drag kings on RuPaul's Drag Race because that's not what RuPaul's Drag Race, like, I don't want it making money off of that, you know? Like, I want a drag king, a drag thing to come up and get, receive the success that RuPaul or Dragula has had by creating their own show. And that's what I'd like to see in the future. Like, of course, I want drag kings and things on television.
Yeah.
I also would like to see drag in media in a different way that's not a competition, because it's all we see right now.
I agree. I think there's been talks. I think we've had talks of like housewives type show of like drag performers, which I think would be kind of interesting.
That would I would watch that in a heartbeat.
Yeah. Because you put a bunch of performers in backstage and shit happens.
It'd just be like a reality show of backstage of like, I don't know, some bar.
Yeah, would be perfect. That's my dream. Someone make it. I don't know. I'll watch, but
you make it.
Oh my God, not this. I do believe it is not my question. Just
we're nowhere near your question, girl. Calm down. Do you have any future projects to promote that are coming up?
Yeah, I'm in a couple shows coming up. I'm really excited that we got to speak with, me and Muscle spoke with, have you heard of Dave's Lesbian Bar?
It sounds familiar.
Amazing human being who's trying to create a lesbian bar here in Astoria. So they've been doing pop-ups in the street, and it's really cool. So I'll be joining them on the 30th, and then also I'm not performing, but I'm going to support Klondike's show on the 30th as well. Uncle Freak has a show this Friday. the Freak Affair at the Cell Theater. Sorry, my calendars are right here. I'm reading off.
No, you're good.
Perfect.
I think, well, for the Cake Boys, we are actually rolling. I'm really excited about this because with the competition, there were so many performers, and we still want to like hold that space for new performers to come out and do their thing or take the stage for the first time. So we are rolling out a monthly open set, Drag King and Thing open set show at Club Coming on every second Friday of the month.
Wow.
Yeah, that's great.
So the first one's going to be November 12th. I am working on the flyer right after this, so hopefully we'll be announcing it in the next few days. So I'm very excited. And November 6th, the Boy Package Fashion Show at $3 Bill.
Ooh.
Beautiful. Love.
So what is the best advice you've been given about doing drag?
I feel like I don't know. I don't know if nobody's like, I feel like when this question you want to hear like a good quote.
Yeah.
I have one.
Well, do you keep anything in mind when you're performing?
I feel like one thing I do is black out. It's not that I'm like not present. It's like,
No, I know exactly what you mean.
It's like I think as a performer, when you get on stage, you have to go into this like mode, to get through your number, especially like you don't want your face to give away if something messed up, or if you want to be able to like pick up if you've lost a step or something. So I definitely go into that. And I think like the best advice in my drag career that I've received is that if the space doesn't exist, you have to create it for yourself. Because that's the one thing that's like always repeating in my head and would help like push the Cake Boys out. And to any new performers out there, if you don't have that stage, unfortunately, we have to create them. So
yeah.
And I'm here to support like talking to a lot of the new performers, especially from the competition, to create their own shows, which I'm really excited to go support and see.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
Also, I do believe it is my time finally.
Finally.
It's not my one question this time around.
It's not.
I know.
I'm so proud of you.
I know. Growth. Character growth.
Growth.
Richard.
Yes.
We prepped you a little bit, but can you tell us tantalizing is that a good word?
Tantalizing.
That one. Tale.
Tantalizing. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Leave my speech impediment alone. Tale of shock, of scandal, of something crazy that has happened in nightlife that you've experienced, that you've heard about, something that
you witnessed.
Something that sticks out into your head that you're like, I need to tell everybody about this.
Now I'm like turning red.
Good.
Okay, so all right. I think what the first thing that comes into my mind is a show me and Sweaty Eddie did. We were asked to perform at Inferno.
Yes.
Which is, for those who don't know, is a sex party that happens in, I think, Park Slope. I'm not sure.
Park Slope. I think it doesn't exist anymore.
Okay,
I think I think they ended it, but yes.
So we performed and we did penetration on the stage as Santa and an elf. So
go off. Yes.
It was really funny. If anybody wants to book us for Christmas, but I played Santa. Eddie was an elf.
I do remember hearing about that because I don't think it was that year. It might have been 2018. I went to the one where Shanita Bump and Linda Felcher were doing the Nutcracker.
Yeah, I think Linda had hooked us up with the gig, so thank you.
Yeah. What a weird environment to perform in. So I'm sure.
I love that. weird shows.
Yeah. Rip in peace, Inferno. You'll be missed. But thank you. Story, because that is one that that sticks out in my mind. Just hearing about that, because
I think there's video somewhere. I don't know. I didn't want to watch it.
honestly, don't blame you. Yeah.
I like that one.
Yeah.
I think we'll keep that one. So, Richard, where do you want to take your drag in the future?
So I guess this past month of like not being able to perform or work, I've done a lot of thinking, and I really want to like develop Richard into more of a more broad type of performer. So I'm currently, I think I'm taking an improv class next week. I'm taking some salsa classes. I am looking into taking more dance classes, because these are all things like that I've been interested in, and I want to apply more to get Richard like out of that like shock drag king into like a more versatile performer who can do a bunch of different things, you know. So nervous, but I'm excited.
Yeah.
Maybe some tap dancing. I don't know.
Fuck yeah. I'm into
That'd
it.
be amazing.
Bring back old 1940s Hollywood glam.
Yes.
Leading
with
men.
long balls, you know.
Vaudeville.
Long balls.
American.
Vaudeville, long balls. Honestly, I'm here for that. I love that
Me too.
transformation too.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for being
Thank
on our little
you.
show.
This wasn't as scary as I thought it would be.
Good. I'm glad.
You should have been scared.
We should have been terrified. We're terrifying people. Where can the kids find you on the internet?
You can follow me on Instagram at callmedick with 2 Ks.
And I believe the Cake Boys are at the Cake Boys.
Yeah, at _Cake Boys.
The _ Cake Boys. Beautiful. Thank you again for sitting down and talking to
you.
us. Really appreciate it. But I was Martyr.
I see Tepper.
And this was
It's still wet out.
you know, whatever.
No matter what we do.
Yeah. Bye, kids.
Bye. I'm C Tepper. You can follow me on Instagram at CTEPPER and read my book, The State of Drag, where I interviewed 175 drag queens from around the world. All proceeds go to charity on Amazon.com.
Ooh, I love that. You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at Drag the Martyr. And if you have any thoughts, comments, dick pics, send them to dragthemartyr@gmail.com.
Listen, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Pandora.
And catch up with past episodes on WERRRK.com. That's WERRRK.com. Artwork for Wigging Out was provided by Glitter Baby Online. That's Glitter Baby Online. Thank you.